I'm trying to comment. Oops, sorry, I changed the camera. Getting adjusted. Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Fadeley Vayette. I am a principal soloist here with Miami City Ballet, and thank you for joining me all today for some stretching and strengthening and a little ballet in there as well. I'm wearing my Miami City Ballet School Rise Strong shirt. I know it's flipped on Instagram here, but I thought we could all rise strong together, not just in the situation that we're all in, but in this moment on Monday morning after a little holiday weekend. I know it's not the same as they were, but I hope everyone did have a nice celebration as much as they could. And we'll begin in a few minutes. I just want to make sure we get everyone in. A few things. If you have a towel, you can have a little hand towel for some stretching, but also a larger towel if you want to sit on anything. A yoga mat is great, but carpet and everything works well too. And I also have some light weights, but you can use anything for that. Cans of soup, bottles of water, or you don't even need any weights at all. And I have a barre, which is not necessary for everyone, but as long as you have something that you can hold on to for some stability, that would be great as well. So we'll get started. Just one more thing. I am pregnant. I am almost 29 weeks. So when you see me from the side, that is what is happening here. And everything that we'll be doing today is obviously things that, that I'm capable of doing, not just as a dancer, but as a normal pregnant woman. So I'm sure that you'll all be able to follow along well and enjoy. So let's begin. Going to move my barre here out of the way for now. We're going to start in a nice comfortable seat on our mats. I'm going to face a little bit this way so that you can see. I'm going to sit on a larger towel here just because we're going to be here for a little bit. Oh, and I'm going to turn the comments off too, sorry, just so that it's not in the way. But thank you all for commenting and joining, and I'll turn them back on at the end. But just so that we can make sure everyone can see. Okay, so we're going to start seated. Again, if you want some kind of towel, for me personally, it helps when I'm seated here that I have a little lift, can kind of use my hips and turn out a little bit. But let's just start in a nice seated position. You can have your legs crossed however you like. And let's just take a few deep breaths in to begin our Monday morning. We can close our eyes. So let's just take a great deep breath in through the nose and out. Again, in through the nose and out. Releasing that tension last time. Great big deep breath in. And we're going to sigh it out. Okay, open your eyes and let's begin. We're going to start with some isolations today on the floor, just to slowly warm up our body piece by piece. We're going to start by turning our head to the right and just taking our arm and having a gentle push over to the side. And again, things might be flipped on your end, so when I say right and it looks left, do your own, but we'll make sure we balance ourselves out and do both sides. And over to the left, head to the ear, take your left hand, pushing over to the side, just opening up that neck. Really important, help get that stress out of our neck and our shoulders. And let's take a forward bend. You can take both hands. Again, just a little light press. Help feel that spine opening. Back to center. And then to the back, we're going to clasp our hands, kind of push them back, reach that neck up, and together. So now we're just going to take a Nice circular head roll to the right. Oh, I just got some big cracks in my neck. That was good. 3 times to the right. Just lengthening that neck. Back to center. And again to the left. Starting nice big circles. Waking up that head, getting some blood flow early in the morning. And back to center. Good. Now we're going to do some shoulder rolls. Just straight back, opening them up. And reverse to the front. A few rolls, just warming up that body. Good. Now we're going to go off to the side. We're just going to put one hand down, take a nice stretch over to the right side, finding my Miami light through the blinds here, and back up to center, and take that right arm, big stretch up and over to the left, opening up those sides, and together. Let's do that again. To the right, big stretch up and over. We can use our head and our hand together so that the port de bras follows our hand. And again, up and over to the left. And together. Then let's just go right straight forward, taking a nice stretch at the back. And coming back up. Okay, now we're going to take our legs out in front of us, just both straight ahead. We're going to do some flexing and pointing of our feet to warm them up. So when we flex our feet, we want them straight up to the sky, nice and flat as much as possible, right? We can try to keep our legs on the floor. They might come up a little bit. And we can also have a slight bend in our knees if it's too much for that flex. And then we're going to point them down towards the mat. What's really important when we point our toes, anytime in ballet or even when we're just stretching, that again, that they go straight forward through that second metatarsal. And that then we roll them back up nice and straight so that we don't have any kind of pronating going on as we do this, right? And point straight down. When we go towards our feet this way, that's called sickling, and that is not what any dancer ever wants to hear. So just straight up, nice and flat, and straight down. Now we're going to work our inner thigh, our turnout muscles, another very important thing for a dancer. We really, whenever we turn out, we want to use our thigh and external rotation as opposed to planting our feet into the floor and using it from our heels. So we'll do a little bit more with that when we stand up, but I just want us to find that feeling right now. So we're going to open our thighs and bring them back in. Let's keep our feet flexed for this actually. So rotating those thighs out to the side and bringing those heels back together. And again, open the thighs from your rotators, those hip bones, back together. And again, side and together. Good, now let's bring the arms up. Just take a big stretch forward. We can pull those feet back. You can lay forward if you can. I cannot because my baby is in the way there. But just get a nice calf stretch after warming up those feet. Okay, now we're going to do a little side spine stretch. So we're just going to open up our feet. Actually, I'm going to close that blind. Give me 1 second. There we go. Just so that we can make sure that we see there. Good. So, just a little second position here. A nice little V, not too big. We're not trying to pull or stretch anything here. We're just going to do a nice little Pilates side spine stretch, like a saw. So we're going to have our arms out to the side. We're going to take a deep breath in as we twist over to the right. We're going to exhale as we bring that arm to our leg. Inhale to come back up. And exhale back to center. Starting to get some rotation in our spine and feeling our obliques. Again, inhale up to the opposite side, opposite hand and arm. Exhale down, reaching, trying to find that length in your spine. Inhale to come back up. Exhale back to neutral. Again, trying to keep those thighs nice and straight here. Again, inhale. Opposite arm and leg. Exhale. Reaching with that back arm to bring you up. And neutral. You should be feeling this in your hamstrings, in your lower back. Getting a nice stretch towards the opposite side. And together, one more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Nice deep reach. Inhale up. And together. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And return. Good. Kind of shake those legs out. We're going to do a little double pigeon here. We're going to have our right foot over our left foot so that they're nice and square here. It's okay if your knees are not flat. We all have different hip flexibility and rotation, but just trying to feel that it's nice square position. Should really be opening up your right hip flexor with your right foot on top and that right glute. And again, we're just going to lift up and go forward, feeling that stretch. Holding it there for a few breaths. Just warming up our muscles before we start to get going with some strengthening exercises. And coming back up, let's switch the legs. So now we have our left foot over our right foot. Again, nice and square here. Even in just this position, it's probably already a stretch. I know that I can feel my hips and glutes stretching here, but let's take a little bit deeper, reaching up and over. Always important to kind of have that breath and that reach before we go over so that we're not just contracting our muscles, but we're lengthening them. A few more breaths and come back up. Good, we're going to flip onto our hands and knees. So if you had a towel or a blanket or anything that you were sitting on, we can remove that for now. And going up to a nice tabletop here. So we want to make sure that our hands are nice and square, that we're protecting our elbows here. We don't want to rotate them, hyperextend them, lock them in any way. Shoulders should be down, lifted up. We're going to do some cat-cow poses, okay? So we're going to inhale into our cow and exhale as we reach up into that Halloween cat pose. And inhale, feeling that length in that spine. Exhale, up. And inhale, exhale. One more time. Really opening that chest up, shoulders down, lifting that chin. And last time, up. And let's go back down into a little child's pose here. So now we open up our legs as we go back, feeling that stretch, reaching forward, finding that new length in our back. Good. From here, we're going to go back up to our tabletop and we're going to go into a downward dog. So we flip our toes under, we press those hips back. Should really feel those hamstrings and those calves starting to move. So we're going to just do a little few releves up and down, right and left for now. Just switching those feet, feeling our plantar fascia release. Again, protecting your arms and your shoulders here. Then let's put both heels down. Let's releve them up in parallel and down. Again, releve up. Feeling feeling those calves and down. Making sure we're going right over that second metatarsal like we did earlier when we were warming up our feet. No sickling or pronating. Good. From here, we're going to go into some abs. Plank forward. Again, keeping those wrists nice and square. Elbows protected, shoulders down, stomach engaged. Nice straight line. We don't want any kind of swaying here. It's about feeling that strength in our shoulders and our abs. If this hurts your wrists, you can go down onto your elbows, clasping your hands together. From here, we're going to go to the right side into a side plank. Again, you can keep your elbow down or be up on your wrist. You can lift up that opposite hand. If this becomes too much for you on your side, you can put your right knee down and your left knee down and still feel that length and that support in your oblique. And we will go back to our regular plank. Forward and back into that downward dog. Stretch it out. Few breaths here. In and out. And again, in and out. Back into a regular plank, holding this for a few counts. You can bring your feet a little bit closer together to help with that stability. Really feeling your ribs corseted as much as possible. Again, not sinking into that low back. We're going to flip to our left side now. So, right arm off to the side, into that side plank, or if you prefer, down to the elbow. As long as you're keeping this nice length in your shoulder and your neck, other arm is lifted. And again, a variance here is putting that right knee down and lifting up out of that side. And we'll put both hands back down into a regular plank and push back into that downward dog. Opening your feet as wide as your hips here. Feeling that length. We're going to slowly bring our arms back to our feet. And just hang here for a few breaths. Really opening that back. Letting gravity do its work here. And slowly, slowly, slowly bring yourself up to a standing position. Rolling. Okay. So we should be feeling a little bit warmer here now that we've, isolated those body parts. We are going to do some of our little ballet exercises like we did last week to continue to strengthen our body. So we're going to start with our pliés. Plié is when we bend our knees and we straighten them. Really important that we keep the knees right over those toes. And then as we come up, we rotate those inner thighs like we did on the floor. We also don't want to have any arches rolling in. Nice and lifted, shoulders down and back. Today we are going to do our pliés. We'll do them with our arms right away today. So if you have some weights, this is a good time to grab them. These are just 3-pound weights that I have. You can, use anything, or you don't need anything at all, because even if you're just holding your arms correctly, it's going to be a nice workout. Really important in ballet that whenever we use our port de bras, which is our carriage of the arms, that it comes from our back. We always keep our shoulders down towards the back. Those wings that we have there are nice and flat and open. We lift our chin, showing off our diamond necklaces, and always have our tiara on so that we're nice and held. So we'll do it together so you can just follow along, but I'm just going to show you one time. In first position, We will have our arms in preparation, which is almost like you're holding a ball, but we have them down here. And as we plie, we're going to lift our arms up to first position and back down to preparation. So our feet are in first position doing a plie, and our arms are lifting to first position as we bend and we straighten. So really making sure that it comes from the elbows and down, so that we're not just lifting our arms aimlessly or having it all in our wrists, but really from the elbows, keeping that beautiful ballerina posture the whole time, and plie, and straight, and plie, and straight. We're going to continue in first position with the legs, but we're going to now bring the arms up to fifth high and back down. So this is a fifth for our arms, first position plie, back down to first position arms. Fifth position and first. It should, as you can see, it's exactly the same. It's just above our head, making sure it doesn't go behind us. Always protecting our shoulders. We should peripherally be able to see our arms up in fifth high. Good. Shake it out for a second. We are going to tendu now into second position. So tendu, we point those toes like we did on the floor, lengthening. Tendu actually means to stretch in French. We place down into second position. Second position is the same as first. Rotating those arches nice and lifted, making sure we're protecting our knees. We don't want to sink into our knees. I have a lot of hyperextension, obviously, but if I sank into them, I would have no kind of muscle or strength. So we really have to make sure we pull up out of them. You can even have a slight bend in them if that's more comfortable for you. And lengthening up. Again, really important that the knees go right over the toes. And we are going to have our arms, this is second position with our arms. So just like first, but we open them up. So elbows stay lifted. So starting in first position, let's plie with our arms in first and lengthen up to second. And plie in first and lengthen to second. Keeping those elbows lifted, shoulders down, chest lifted as well. Really rotating those thighs to come up. So not just bending our legs, but resisting and feeling the inner thighs coming forward. Also, the weight should never be back into your heels when you plie. You don't want to lose that tailbone. It should be like you're right up against the wall, and right back up. So that you're really working those inner thighs and the arms at the same time. Also, your stomach should be engaged and held and sucked in, unlike mine. Good, now we're going to bring the arms from second to fifth high. So from second, elbows are lifted. As we plie, we bring them up and over to fifth and back down. Notice how the shoulders never go up. The arms are moving from the back the entire time. And up, plie, and straight. Plie, and straight. Plie, and straight. Good, let's shake it out. We're now going to do a little plie in second position to our tendu, second position. So we plie with our arms in first, we tendu up onto one side, our arms open into second. Plie back into first, alternating to the other side in second. What's really important here is as we tendu up onto that leg, that we don't have the weight into our heel. So we're not just kind of falling in between, but we're really plieing straight over, nice and flat, toes right on the floor, and then as we lengthen up, we pull up right onto that supporting side, beautifully pointed toes, no sickling. Straight back down in the middle, and push up to the tendu. So again, plie, arms in first position, legs in second, open tendu, arms in second. So we're doing the opposite arm and tendu, and plie and tendu. Really using those inner thighs that we found earlier, so they're coming forward. Being careful of how we place those toes down and point. Plie down and point. Plie second, tendu up. Plie second, tendu up. One more time and up. And we'll finish in first position. Okay, let's put our weights down for now. We'll do a little more arms later, but we're not going to use the weights for that. Now, if you have something to hold on to, doesn't need to be a bar. I'm just using the bar because I have it, and it's what I am used to, so it makes it a little bit easier. But you can hold on to the back of a chair, a sofa, a stool, a child, if they will stay still long enough. And we are going to do some releves in first position. So our releve means to rise up. When we do that, remember to stay right over those second metatarsals like we talked about. So no rolling in, forward, and also not back towards our pinkies. It's very unstable and not safe, as you can see, working those ankles that way. As ballerinas, when we're on our point shoes, that's how we build that strength, is by going straight up and straight down. It's the only way that we can balance on our toes the way we do. Because if we were moving around with our ankle and not protecting it with our muscles and the correct anatomy alignment, it would never work. So, first position, we're just going to releve straight up over those metatarsals and down. And releve up, 4, 2, count, down, 4, 2. Resisting as we come down, so we're not slamming into the floor and we're not shifting our weight every time. We're staying right over the ball of our foot as we go up, and then same as we go down. The heels touch the floor, but they stay on the ground. And remember, we're rotating those thighs coming forward the whole time. One more time down. We're going to come back up. We're going to stay here. Now we're going to do a few plies in the releve. So this is going to get underneath our glutes. We're going to plie over and up. Again, the knees stay right over the toes. Plie and straight. Making sure you're taking it in your thighs and your rotation, and not just sinking over and pushing too far into those feet ligaments, but really feeling that stretch. It should really be a nice quad workout here. Plie and straight. One more. Plie and straight. And just for fun, let's take a little balance. So we bring our arms in first position. We let go of whatever we're holding on to. Remember that we keep those elbows lifted, shoulders down, arms helping us balance, stomach engaged, hands back down, and release. Good, we're going to do the same in second, but let's stretch out a little bit, because I know that my feet are cramping a little bit there. So a good way to stretch out our feet, you can find even a wall. I think if we can see me here. You can put your feet up against the wall, right, and kind of stretch that out. That can also help stretch that calf. Just because I know it's, it's very unnatural to be up even on a demi point, let alone when we're on our point shoes. So just to feel that nice length in our foot, especially since we're not going outside as much anymore and we're not maybe wearing shoes as much, maybe we're a little barefoot a little more in our house. It's good to start to feel that articulation as we walk and we roll, and just being cautious of how we actually walk, so that we're not doing any of this pronating as we're walking around the house, but that we're really being aware of the structure of our foot. Good, we can also stretch out our calves. Again, a wall is great, probably more stable. Hands here. Even here, just like that plank position where you have that length, we can just bend and straighten that calf back there. Both feet together. And switch. Nice little bend in that back leg. And up. Let's also stretch out our quads before we do this again in second position, because it's going to be even harder in second position. So just grabbing that foot. You can also use a smaller towel if that helps. You can find your balance to grab both ends of that towel onto one side and help pull that thigh to you. We can bend forward here to get that strength, that length. You can also bend back to get a little hip stretch. Good, and then we can take that leg too, as long as you're holding on to something, and bring it into the front and just kind of open it side and forward, getting a little more rotation in that hip. Okay, left leg, same thing, you can use your towel, or you can just use your hand, holding on to something for balance, lengthening the front of that thigh. So if we're just here, we're not going to really get a stretch. We really want to keep that hip nice and long, pulling that foot to our glute. And again, we can go forward, feeling a little hip stretch here, and then taking that hand up towards our leg, opening it side, front, and side, and front. Okay, we're going to do the same in second position. Just a little bit more strengthening in those thighs before we do some glute exercises. So in second position now, remember, arches lifted, thighs rotated, knees lifted up, shoulders down. So we kind of have this push-pull feeling the whole time that we're doing these exercises, and also that's, as dancers, what we have to feel. So that we have this kind of lengthening in the upper body while this resisting down with the lower body. So let's just do some releves in second first. So we're going to ride straight up and down, and up and down. So the same as what we were doing in first position. Our feet are just a little bit wider. Our heels are almost underneath our hips here. But just so that we're having a little more space, takes a little bit more control in our body now that the feet are farther apart. Up, resist, down, no weight into the heels, up and down. 2 more times, and hold in second position. Now we're going to do our pliés in releve on second. So bending over and up. Remember, tailbone stays straight down. Like you're up against a wall. We're using our thighs rotating forward and our glutes. So there's a spiraling feeling the whole time. We plie down, we resist up. Plie and up. Plie and up. Plie and up. Now we're going to take a little balance in second position with our arms in second. Don't do both arms at once. Makes it a lot more difficult, even as ballet dancers. We like to do one arm out to second and then the other. Your arms are here to help you balance. If you've ever seen those tightrope walkers that have those sticks, that's what's helping them balance. So that's what your arms are here for. They have to be nice and strong from your back. Everything held, but that should help guide you. And then we'll place both arms down, plie, and straighten. Good, let's stretch out those calves and feet again. So you're just pushing that foot, nice little bend and straight. And if you have even something like this, ballet dancers, our favorite thing is up against a bar like this. You can also even get a little bouncy ball, even a tennis ball. Tennis ball is a little big, but any kind of bouncy ball, putting it underneath your foot and kind of rolling that around, feeling that arch. It's a wonderful stretch for those ligaments in your feet. Dancers have a whole array of balls of different sizes in their bags at all times because you just never know when you're going to need something to help you roll out. The tennis balls are also really good to put underneath your calves when you're sitting on the floor. You just kind of roll your calf up against that. It does a really nice stretch. So, since we can't go get massages or anything, do a little self-care on your own with things around your house. Stretching out those calves behind you. Nice little bend and straight. 2 legs and other in front. Bend and straight. Okay, now we are going to do some glute exercises here. Make sure that we're holding on to something for now. In the future, you're not going to need something as we gain the strength for it, but for today, let's hold on to something. We're going to do a little curtsy squat, coming from an attitude second. So attitude is where we have our leg lifted, but it actually has a little bend to it. So just for today, we're going to keep that kind of like 90 degrees, right? As dancers, eventually it gets all the way up there. But for today, we're just going to think about from first position, we're going to just lift from underneath, still using that turnout, lifting that foot off the floor into an attitude, and then we're going to curtsy behind us. So let me move this bar out of the way a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. Actually, yeah, I'll just do one hand. So you can hold on with one hand if that helps, or you can do both hands, whatever is best for you. Safety is of the utmost importance. So even for me, I never know where my balance is going to be. So making sure we're holding on to something. But we'll be in first position with the right leg up. Other hand can be on your hip if you want. And we'll do a little attitude and curtsy. So here, keeping that tailbone down, right? We don't want to stick that out. Imagine you're wearing a tutu, right? We don't want that tutu to go up behind us. That is not a good look for anyone. So attitude and curtsy down. Attitude, curtsy down. Remember, every time we bend the knee, it's right over the toe. The arch stays lifted. If you notice, everything in ballet builds on itself, but the same fundamentals apply for every step, right? No tension in the shoulders, keeping this length, plie, attitude, and curtsy, attitude, and curtsy. From here, we're just going to do some pulses. So that leg is crossed behind me. Make sure it's not too crossed, but it's also not too open. So my knees are connected. They're right over our toes, just like we do a curtsy at the end of class, which we will do. But we're going to do some pulses here. So plie, and plie, and plie, and curtsy, holding on to something if we need. Should really feel the glute. And again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. Stand up. Shake it out. Because we did our right leg moving, but it was for our left glute. You can take your leg up onto something. Again, a sofa would be great for this. It's a flat stool. If you don't have anything, you can also just kind of hold on and use your hand to start to push that down just so that we can stretch that glute out. You can bend forward. Just like you would be sitting on the floor on a mat, you can also do that, but while you're standing. You can also put your foot here, flexed, and kind of bend over, bending this knee a little bit. Now you can stick your butt out, just so that we can get that nice stretch in our glute. And then again, let's bring that foot up. You can use your towel, stretch that quad out that we just worked a lot. Okay, Sorry, my music keeps turning off. Let's do the left side. So, again, you can hold on to both hands, one hand, whichever. We're going to be in our first position. Make sure that we're starting already in a great position with those arches lifted, knees rotated, shoulders down. We're going to do an attitude side. Make sure that those toes are pointed, lifted, nice 90-degree angle. And we're going to curtsy behind us. Remember, not sticking that tush out, staying nice and flat. Attitude, curtsy. Attitude and curtsy. Attitude, knee right over the toe, and really articulating that foot as you go down. Up and down. 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8. Now we're going to pulse. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Again, make sure you're protecting that knee right over the toe, rotating the thighs. 2 more, and we finish. So coming back up, let's stretch that hip out. So start by lifting that knee, and then you can place it. Make sure that it's something that's in a good height for you, right? Ideally, it should be kind of 90 degrees or below. This is a little tall, and this is way too tall. But just so that you can feel that length and stretch behind your glute muscle there. Bend forward, and then we're going to take that leg, bring it back. Again, you can use your towel just to get that quad stretched out. And down. Good. You can move away whatever you've been holding on to, or go back to your space. We're going to close out class, just checking the time. We're going to close out class right now with just a few port de bras and épauments and some nice flow. So as I said before, the port de bras is carriage of the arms. All of the ballet terminology that we use is in French. So it's actually pretty amazing when you're learning ballet that you're actually learning another language as well. And that the steps really do mean what the word itself is. So the port de bras is the carriage of the arms. The épaumant is the carriage of the head and how we use the head with the arms. And as dancers, we always want to coordinate our head with our arms, and then with the legs as well. That's the whole package, and that's what makes the dancing interesting. So right now, we're actually just going to start in second position, and we're just going to do some little bounces. So we're going to plie and bring the arms up, just to stretch it out. Together and up. We're just kind of swinging those arms, feeling the rebound, feeling the space around us. This is a nice, actually a modern, contemporary warm-up. But again, that those knees are going over the toes. It's not about the quads or the strengthening right now. It's just feeling the length in the arms. Good. One more. And up. Let's go into first position. We're going to do a little port de bras today, inspired by flowers, the waltz. So it can actual flowers, but also the waltz of the flowers in the Nutcracker. So let's start the first time. In preparation, we'll bring our arms to first position, to fifth position, and then instead of just bringing them down to second, we want to have a nice lift up and over to second position, bringing the arms down and through. If you never know what to do with your arms, you can always look at your hands and down. First position, fifth position, like a flower that's blooming, open, releasing those arms down. One more time, first to fifth. Now watch as I lift up and over that I don't lift my shoulders up, that it really has that length in the body and down. We're going to go back to first to fifth. Now we're going to go side and side. Almost like we're making little figure eights. So it goes forward and in. We're looking at our hands and down. So the head goes right and left. The arms are like flowers. Moving side to side, bending that body. 7 and 8. Good. Let's bring our arms down to finish. We're going to do first position arms, tendu to second like we found earlier, that tendu stretch. We're going to do a real curtsy this time, not a squat curtsy, a nice beautiful bow. Coming back to that first position. And again, first position arms, second position arms in tendu, crossing behind us, and a nice luxurious curtsy to finish. Finish in first position, nice épaule and release. So that is all for today. Thank you all for joining me. I hope that you got a nice little workout there. I'm going to turn the comments back on there. Get your heart rate up a little bit with some dance moves, but also some nice stretch and lengthening there in the beginning as well. So I appreciate you all joining me today. There are some more ballet classes, actual ballet classes, the rest of the week. You can join Principal Dancer Rainer Krensetter on Thursday at 6 o'clock for an intermediate ballet class. It will be, a real barre, more dancing for those of you that are actual dancers out there. And for those of you that do want to learn more about ballet that haven't really done it before, there's a beginner ballet class on Saturdays with principal dancer Jennifer Lauren, and she will be doing a very basic ballet barre for all of you. So thanks for joining me. I will be back next Monday at 8:30 so that we can keep moving together. And it's so good to see all of you, and thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely week, and we rise strong together. Bye, guys.